is Tariq Talk. Your host, Tariq Mendez, takes you on a journey with guests from all around the world. Broadcasting around the world. Around the world. This is Tariq Talk.
Hey guys, today I'm here with Kyle Hamilton. Kyle, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. I'm so glad we finally got to link up, as you could say.
Me too.
So we originally met, a little background, on Instagram, and then we ran into each other at, I think, the Spring Break Art Fair.
Yes.
And Philip was there. Shout out to Philip. So I'm so glad. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you're here today and we get to do this interview together.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Do you want to start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name's Kyle Hamilton. I'm a contemporary art dealer and advisor working mostly in New York City and Miami. And yeah, I work with my own group of artists and I tell the world about other artists I think are fantastic. And I have a few art fairs and pop-ups coming up until the end of this year and going into 2024.
That's amazing. Do you mind sharing your Instagram and your website with us?
Sure. My Instagram is Kyle A. Hamilton, and my website is KyleHamiltonFineArt.com.
Got it. And then going back to your art dealing, you mentioned you have a show coming up. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I'm going to be doing a pop-up exhibition in Chinatown in New York, one starting in September that I'll announce online. And then I'll be following it with a second show that'll be in October.
Oh, wow. Congratulations. I'm so excited. So, guys, please make sure to follow him so we can get the info and the invite and everything.
I appreciate it.
So can you tell us a little bit about how you got into art dealing?
Yeah, I used to work for a gallery in Chelsea called Fred Torres Collaborations. Mm-hmm. And they represented some really fun young artists, a few that I still work with to this day. And through that, I really learned how to work with clients and really find out what people were looking for, kind of be a better person in the customer service aspect of the art world, which I think can be really difficult. But yeah, I just was always interested in absorbing as much information as I could. I love to see as many exhibits as I can because I never know when I'll see something unexpected that could be perfect for a client or perfect for me to represent them.
Oh, that's amazing. And have you always been into art, since you were a kid?
When I was a kid, I was growing up in St. Louis, and I really saw museums as kind of the only pathway to work in fine art. Yeah. So until I moved to New York and saw how big the gallery and commercial art world were, I just always expected to work for a museum.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool. And as you mentioned, going to museums and art galleries, this is a question I love. I'm always fascinated to ask. When you're in a museum and an art gallery, are you able to enjoy the moment and be in the art, or are you thinking, oh my gosh, this could be a cool artist to pick up, this would be a good artist to represent, or are you able to be in the moment and enjoy that time with you?
Yeah, I think especially at a museum, a place that kind of feels almost like a religious experience, you can really kind of separate your feelings about just liking something from just really experiencing it. But I think it's harder to do that at galleries where it's an opening, so it's more of a party, or art fairs that seem really fast paced. You kind of have to see everything, so you're just processing stuff that's way faster. Yeah. But if I am somewhere at a gallery or at art fair and I really like an artist, I'll always try to, talk to the person at the front desk, get more information on them so that I can kind of look at it on my computer, kind of away from the craziness.
Yeah. And then who are you your favorite artist right now?
I would say, as far as people that I just wish that I had in my collection, there's a really good artist named Kennedy Yanko. She's incredible.
God, yeah, she does the metal sculptures. Yeah.
She's one of my favorites. I love her. There's a really talented artist named Devon Shimoyama that shows with the Book Gallery.
Okay.
It's incredible. There's I'd say top 5 would be Nina Chanel Abney. Is a really talented African American artist that I love. And I really love Austin Lee. He has kind of
the airbrush spray paint,
really funky, cool style. And
I think he's with Jeffrey.
Yeah, he shows with Jeffrey Deitch.
I never know how to pronounce that last name.
No, he's incredible.
Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah,
and he actually does have a really cool collection of prints at Paste Prints. So it's a lower price point if people are still interested in his work and don't want to,
Yeah,
pay for an original.
Yeah.
But them, and there's a really cool like video artist named Jacoby Satterwhite that he develops like tons of
like AI
world art and stuff.
Oh my God, I love talking to you. Yeah, we have the same taste. Yeah.
So he's amazing. Really cool. I've been kind of watching him for a while, and I think he's really incredible.
Yeah, that's really cool. And then, like, how have you? Just a quick question, just being curious. Have you ever like tried painting yourself?
I used to do a lot of photography. Like, my grandpa was like a big analog film buff, so we used to like develop stuff, in his basement. Yeah. And then I used to mess around with like collaging together old negatives.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then like enlarging them together, so kind of make like a photo negative collage. Yeah. But after I moved to New York, I kind of didn't have
the time,
the space, or or back then, like this whole analog film renaissance wasn't really happening, so there wasn't anywhere where I could like rent out a spot for a dark room.
Oh wow! And do you think like being around your grandpa doing that, is that like where your love of art first started?
I think between him and my aunt that was always into art, and now she's like a full-time glass artist.
Oh, that's amazing.
Since she retired from her job that she like had, and she's been in a glass studio, so she was always really into art, and my mom just always let me kind of be with her friends that were artists. I took like pottery classes and painting classes when I was young, so I was kind of always all over everything.
And photography has been your favorite out of everything?
For me personally, it was the most fun.
And do you have like an archive of all the work you created?
I did, it's at my parents' house.
It's still there?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And then going back to are you doing anything for Art Basel? Will you be in Miami? Or
I'm going to do an exhibit at a fair called the Satellite Art Fair.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So everybody get your tickets, pre-book them, pre-reserve and everything. And when you're looking as like a curator collector, do you enjoy, like, do you always find yourself going to like art spaces, or is there something else that you also like to enjoy to kind of like for your mental health in a way to relax yourself? Like, do you like music or?
I mean, I like to balance out like kind of time with like, if I'm in Miami, like go to the beach or just try to like relax a bit. Yeah. But in New York, I've been playing tennis since I've been back this summer.
Oh my
so
God,
that's really
tennis?
fun.
Oh, we gotta play tennis. I love tennis.
Yeah.
I'm not good, but I love tennis.
Yeah, so it's like that's been fun.
Yeah.
And it's like I've hung out with people that I haven't seen in like 3 or 4 years since I moved. So no, it's been a nice way to just chill.
And how has it been like the switch from New York to Miami?
I would say I felt like a lot more lonely in Miami than I expected.
Oh, really?
I'd say
I
it's
never
like
heard that before. Wow.
It's harder too because it's like a lot of the people that you meet, they're only there for a while, so it's hard to have like more like
a full-time
friendship.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Yeah, so like that was like the biggest like difference, because I was just used to kind of seeing the same people in New York all the time.
And how do you think like I know this is like a very controversial question, but like how do you think the difference is between like the New York art market is to the Miami art market?
Yeah, I would say that a lot of the clients in New York are really a lot more up to date on like trends, and they've seen a lot more. Yeah. Where I feel like a lot of people in Miami, like they like a very specific thing, and they're not as interested to know about globally what's as popular. Yeah. So I think that's like the main difference, but like, for some people they do want to learn, and there are definitely long-term families of collectors that are based there too. But it's just more of a mixed bag. Yeah.
And what's your favorite museum in Miami?
I would say the North Miami Contemporary Museum is really cool. It's newer. It's on like 125th Street. So it's like there's a whole little community up there of like some cool galleries, like cool secondhand stores. Yeah.
And what about New York? Like, what's your favorite art institution? It could be like galleries or museums. Or
I would say, just for like always doing something unique, would be MoMA PS1.
Oh yeah.
I'd say like they're always doing something different. The new museum is like high up on that list for me too.
That's where Kennedy had a show recently this year, right? Yeah, that's
cool. So they do really cool stuff too.
And who's your favorite art gallery?
I would say, like overall, like best program that I like the most would be David Zwerner.
Oh, very nice.
Or Lehman Maupin.
Yeah.
They have like, so many spaces, so it's almost like there's always something amazing going on in one of them.
Yeah. No, I really like that. All right, Kyle, do you mind telling us how you find artists?
Yeah, like I think it's really amazing to be connected to so many people on social media now.
Mm-hmm.
So there are some artists that I've just connected with online before I ever met them, but I've met a lot of artists through people who share studio spaces with like current people I work with, or also a few collectors that I work with have connected me with artists that they kind of found that they thought could use some help too.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you ever think of how can I ask this? Like, do you ever, like, when you see different artists, do you ever think like, oh my God, maybe a collab between them would be cool or anything like that?
I think, yeah, it's like I see some people that I know are comfortable already with working with someone else.
Yeah.
That'd be more open to it. And then there's other people that I know that I could just curate their work together and make it look really cool and not do much of like the artist collaborating, but just like sharing the space.
Got it. And then if you, like, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years? In terms of art?
I think I'd like to have a gallery like full time in New York, but then still focus on doing a lot of art fairs and like projects outside of New York as well. But I think it's important to have like a base of operations here. Got it.
And do you think of like maybe expanding like Miami, LA locations too, or just kind of like the headquarters in New York and then do art fairs?
Yeah, I would just focus on New York and doing art fairs and maybe like some seasonal pop-ups in places like Miami or LA if I wanted to do something longer than a fair.
Got it. And what do you think of like the art market in terms of the Middle East, like with artists like Art Dubai and things like that?
I think it's going to continue to grow just because it's people that are investing large amounts of money. Their wealth isn't really dependent on like stock market or like traditional things. So they have the funds to do it. So I think it's just going to keep growing. I'd like to really go to Art Dubai this year.
Yeah, I know. That would be cool. And then when you're working with your artists, do you like give inputs while they're creating, or do you kind of like to, like if they tell you, hey, I'm working on something, do you prefer to see the final product, or do you like to see like the before, after, or like the before, during, and after? Yeah,
I'd say some people kind of already have a vision for like a whole series they want to create, but some people are better off just working like one piece at a time. So for them, I would wait until the end to see what they made all together and maybe just like edit or like curate what I'd want to pick from that.
Yeah. And then what's a question, this is a funny question, like what's something that you find not difficult, but like, I would say difficult, like working with artists?
Yeah, I'd say, just because people's schedules are different and most people don't have anyone really helping them. So a lot of times it's just like, making sure we can deliver on things, make sure that, if stuff has to be somewhere for a show, that it makes it there on time. So I'd say just like being a little bit of, just like insistent to make sure things get done.
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
But besides that,
all good.
That's pretty good.
All Gucci. Another question: what's something that you enjoy working with artists?
I would say being able to put something together, and then being able to show the artist like a piece once it's been sold or somewhere, and show it like in a beautiful place where it ended up. Kind of makes them feel like it went to a good home. Yeah.
And do you enjoy seeing like how your clients will kind of like style the painting in a way, like where they locate it, what they put with it?
Yeah.
Do you enjoy that process?
I do.
Yeah.
Especially if we're like mixing together pieces they have from a collection and then adding new pieces. It's fun to see how different eras of work, different kinds of work can like still play together really well.
Got it. And are you interested, like when you have a client, based on what they already have in their collection, to add on, or you just like do a fresh start?
Yeah, I always like to look at what people already like because it gives me a good reference for what they probably get in the future.
And then like how much of your, like I can't even imagine, like because you're an art dealer, so I'm guessing like you're always surrounded by art, always checking out art. I feel like you could have like a really cool book or something like that, with all the images you have and stuff.
Oh, totally.
Because your Instagram is really cool.
Oh,
once
thank
again,
you.
It's at Kyle.
Kyle A. Hamilton.
Just everybody follow him. It's really good. And then how does the logistics work? If you want to go a little bit further in, like to the pop-up that you're doing. You mentioned it was in Chinatown, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, like Lower East Side.
Lower East Side. And it's soon to be announced, the opening day and everything. Do you have at least an idea how long the show will run for?
I'm probably going to do 2 shows and split it up so I can do a show in September and a show in October.
Oh, and it will be in the same venue?
Yeah, same space.
That's amazing. Very cool. And will you be showing like current artists you represent or like previous artists?
Yeah, some that I'm going to be debuting that are not on my website yet, and then a couple that I have worked with before.
Okay, and then going back to your website, can people buy work directly from your website?
Sure, yeah. Everything I have is listed. I also have my WhatsApp and my email listed on there if you prefer to
perfect.
speak to me directly. Because, I just always want to make it easy for people.
Yes, WhatsApp is like the best thing internationally.
Totally.
I love it. And then, do you also have services that you can like suggest where to hang it up? Because I know some people like starting to do that. Because, some people that are like kind of get into art, they don't really understand or they don't know how to like hang up a painting. Are you able to like facilitate the process?
Totally,
like,
yeah.
Hey, put it here with this, it'll look good.
Totally. And I work with really good framers all over the country. So if people want something custom, and I know really good installers, so kind of do the whole process.
That's fabulous.
Conveniently.
Are you going to be at the Armory show?
Yes, I will.
Shout out to the Armory show.
Yeah. It's going to be huge this year.
When you're going to do you enjoy going to art fairs in general? Yeah. What's a show that you've been to that forever has changed your it's like almost like going to a concert in a way. Like,
totally.
What's a show that you've been to that like stayed with you forever?
I would say Art Basel in Switzerland, like summer 2019, was huge, and it was my first time ever going. And it was just like so well done. The focus was really on like the art and like tons of really cool like satellite fairs and other things going on at the same time. So it was great, and it was really easy to get around.
Oh, that's amazing. That's very good to know. And are you going to check out I always forget how to pronounce it, Biennale? Yeah,
I'd love to go to Venice.
Yeah. I think the Brazilian director from MASP Museum in São Paulo, I think he's the curator.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so definitely going to be checking that one out for sure. How do you think like art fairs have changed from like the beginning to now?
I'd say at the beginning, it was a way for galleries to just see their clients they already had. And then it's grown into so many different locations that now it's like kind of a fight over who can secure like the new clients in all these cities.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a lot more of a global like year-long calendar than it used to be. Because it's like there was just contemporary art now in Ibiza. Like over the summer, like there'll be a really big fair in Holland in like the city called Noki, which is like a big lake town. That'll be almost 2 weeks. So it's like there's a whole different schedule that I wasn't really aware of that I don't really think happened 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. And where do you see like the art market going to in Miami?
I think in Miami it's going to kind of stay around the same because it's really too seasonal for like there to be a ton of people there all the time. But there are some cool people that are opening like bigger spaces. So there are some things happening, but there are also galleries that have been around for a long time that are closing too. So it's kind of like similar to New York. It's like change of like generations. And
next question, what do you think, like where do you see the New York art market leading to?
I think it'll just kind of keep getting bigger here just because there's always new galleries opening for the first time. There's like a lot of people that are like younger collectors that are here too, which wasn't always the case. So I think that, I think there's enough clients to go around for everyone.
Got it. And since you've been in New York, have you just arrived in New York from Miami?
I've been here like on and off since June.
On and off? Have you like checked out any shows, like any recent shows that you really enjoyed?
No, I mean, there was like a really great show at JTT Gallery. They just like closed, but if it's worth checking out online, it was a really cool spot. Chapter New York is also in Tribeca, had a really cool show. And before I left town, there was a really cool show at Miles McHenry Gallery in Chelsea. It's like another one of my faves.
Well, that's amazing.
But there's a lot out, and especially, if you just look online now, there's like so many listings of all the shows that are happening right now.
And like, how do you plan your art outings? Like, if it doesn't have anything to do with like the customers or your clients for collections, Like, how do you plan an art day just for you, like for you to enjoy?
Yeah, like I try to see kind of what I've gotten in my email, like to see if there's cool stuff that's opened. But then I use like a couple of different websites, like Chelsea Gallery Map.
Okay.
They put all the listings like on the map, so you can see exactly what's going on. Like, and you can kind of go up like north from 23rd Street or like south, kind of like planning out your route.
Oh, that's nice. Let's check it out, because I always used Art Forum Art Guide,
the
app. Yeah, but I didn't know about that one. That's pretty
that
cool.
one's good. And then there's another one called Seesaw. That's like an app that also
and you
has
can like
everything
plan
on
it on the.
Yeah, you can like favorite shows.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's like well designed too. About it.
And do you like when artists get political? Like, is that something you enjoy?
Yeah, I think it's important.
Yeah. And do you, when you're like choosing an artist, do you kind of look at their body of work, or do you kind of look at what they're working on now?
Yeah, I like try to, talk to them, kind of get a good sense of their vibe, and see what they've already done, see kind of what their growth has already been. Because especially for people that are younger, their style can change a lot.
Yeah. And do you prefer like the one-on-one visits, or do you prefer like over like FaceTime or WhatsApp?
Oh yeah, I think I'd rather always meet in person if I can.
In person,
just like see stuff in person, so much better than a photo too.
And I have a question. Like, since I started this podcast, I kind of like just talking with different artists and creatives. I realized kind of like how all artists are in a way similar, but not the same. We almost like share like a artist collective, like an iCloud, where we like pick ideas from. What's your perspective, like seeing artists and how they pursue their dreams and their passions? Like, what's your takeaway from like seeing different artists painting every day?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's different kind of schools of thought for artists. So some of them really work well by themselves, not really looking at a lot of other people. But then I've met other people that are really more collaborative, or like hang out with more artists. So yeah, it's interesting to see people's different thought patterns and different ways of working.
It's very interesting. And how do you where do you see, as we mentioned, like you will like in the next 10 years as a gallery, would you ever get into something like NFTs or artificial intelligence? What do you think of that whole like art market in a way?
I think that it's definitely a part of the art scene that's not going to go away. I would just like to kind of focus more on traditional art for now, but I think there are some really cool things happening in NFTs, and I've advised some clients to purchase specific NFTs before. So I think that it's not a trend, but it's just also not my main focus.
Yeah. And what do you think of artists? I know people have like different opinions on this. What do you think of artists that are like have like a large physical body of work? Now they're kind of shifting into like AI to create work. Do you think those works can be taken seriously? Like,
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've seen some that are really incredibly made. It'll just take a while for people to really understand what goes into making it.
Yeah. And this, I get since I started this podcast, what question I get a lot is from young artists is, they tell me to ask future guests is, what advice would you give to a young artist that knows they want to be an artist, but they don't know how to kind of like start, or they're scared to not go into a corporate world, but instead go into an artistic world? Like, what's your advice for them? Yeah,
I would say try to really find your own style, because there'll always be a bunch of people that are copying the trendy artists of the time. But if you can really make a body of work that feels really fresh and from a different perspective, that'll get you longer in the long game than just trying to be trendy in the moment.
Got it. And when you're looking for your artists, are you looking for just painters, sculpturists, or do you kind of like artists that like embody like?
Yeah, I like a mix. Yeah, I like people that do like big sculptures, paintings. I have some photographers. There's someone that I'm working with in ceramics that I'm really excited about. So yeah, I'm open to different mediums for sure.
And do you enjoy like talking to like artists and creatives? Because I know like the conversation is a little like, when I talk to my friends that are artists, like we can relate on certain things, and I feel like to an outsider it sounds kind of crazy, right? But since you're so much in the art world and you have so much knowledge, do you enjoy like those artistic talks?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
And just like hearing about someone's life and their experiences and why this is important to them, I think it really helps people that are on the selling side of the business better understand the artist and actually makes it easier to believe in someone if you can, really connect with their story. Because it's like, I think in art and design and anything, it's like you're selling more the story than just the object itself.
And do you think you'll ever like go back into pursuing arts for your own?
I don't think so.
No.
I don't really miss like the
No.
like photochemical smells either.
No. I love how quickly you said that, like without hesitation, so fast. So you did mention you did photography. Like, do you ever do anything like if you're like stressed or going through like a tough time in life? Do you ever sit like drinking a glass of wine and coloring? Like, do you ever find yourself doing anything creatively?
Yeah, like I like to write a lot.
Wow.
So yeah, like I like do like journal entries and sometimes just like fiction like stories. But yeah, I think that's like my biggest outlet is writing.
Oh, that's
But I do like taking photos when I'm like out or for Instagram and stuff too.
Yeah. And do you take pictures of like your art studio visits and your artists?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like whoever's listening, if you're like publishing house, please give Kyle a deal because he has some very cool pictures on his Instagram. Make sure you follow him as well.
Thank you.
And then for like I recently saw something that said like people are galleries are going to, I don't think they have yet, but they're thinking of creating like AI avatars. So kind of like creating like a human to put in their roster, and then from that, once that's created, creating like AI work to go to that artist. What do you think of like, I'm very fascinated, I'm very much looking forward to it, but what do you think of people that are like so hesitant towards AI? Do you think that's like dangerous, or do you think that's like a cool thing to do?
I think it'll be tough for some artists to remain with galleries that have like an AI artist, because they'll be like, you're kind of taking the spot of someone.
Yeah.
Like a real person.
Yeah.
So I could kind of see like artists getting upset about that.
Yeah. And what do you think of the recent like protests like in Hollywood and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a really unfair deal that all the writers and SAG people have, especially for what the profits have been from streaming like since lockdown.
Yeah.
So it seems like things are like really really unequal.
Yeah. I hope it shifts and everybody gets a good contract redo, right?
Because I think that's the thing is they can't say that they're not making any money.
Oh yeah,
so I think that's like always been the thing that they've said in the past was that like we're not making revenue, but they are now.
And going back to your artist, for the show that you're working on, are you selecting like a one style of medium, or are you gonna have like different mediums from various artists? Yeah,
it's gonna be a few different painters and at least one photographer.
Okay, cool. And I know you can't talk too much about it, but like probably in the meantime, are you thinking like of a whole story to tell? And how is it like been setting up that show? Do you have to think of like the space, the lighting, like time of day and stuff like that?
Like I like to make shows that kind of feel site specific, so I'm definitely like working with the space I have because it has good light.
Yeah. And
there's a couple different kind of like main focus areas that can kind of make feel like a little bit of a separate installation too.
Has your plans changed like from what you had first in your mind to like seeing the space in person in daytime, nighttime? Has like your vision, have you like kind of had to adapt to that space?
Yeah, like there's just like different size pieces that I know will work well in there that I wouldn't have originally put in, but I can actually show some bigger pieces there. So
that's amazing. And how big is the space? If you're
it's about probably like 1,200 square feet.
Oh, that's amazing.
It's kind of shaped like an L too, so there's like an office, like wall of windows.
Yeah, I love that because it makes people like be curious and walk all the way down instead of just like open the door, check it out, and be like, oh, whatever, No,
I'm excited.
I'm excited. I feel like you're gonna do amazing. So Kyle, when you're going to like art studios and you're being surrounded by art all the time, do you ever get like overstimulated?
Yeah, I'd say sometimes you kind of have to just like say that it's enough for a day.
And what do you do to kind of like cleanse yourself and like, like, is it like through yoga, being in nature, by the beach? Yeah,
I'd say it's good to just like, if you can, just like lay down for a little bit and like close your eyes. Because you can really get a headache from like looking at too much in a day, especially if you're like breathing in a bunch of paint and stuff.
Oh, that's true. And then how do you think like social media has changed the art world in a way?
I'd say it's made it a lot more visible to people. Like, because 5 10 years ago, people weren't really as aware of all of the different galleries that are in the world, like all the different shows that are happening.
Yeah.
I think you used to have to really pay attention to it, and now it's just all online. You don't have to seek it out as much.
Mm-hmm. And in terms of like infrastructure, what do you think is the difference between like the Miami art market, like meaning like how certain things are spaced out and how it is like accessible from one venue to another, like from Miami to New York?
Yeah, like Miami, there are like a few neighborhoods like Little Haiti, Overtown, that do have a lot of spaces that are all within like driving distance of each other, but there's nothing like the concentration of galleries in Chelsea or in the Upper East Side or like Lower East Side. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, I think the only place in the world is New York where it's like this.
Yeah. And yeah, that's interesting you say that, because everybody says like compared to other cities how it's more accessible, I say, to go to different art places.
For sure.
But being like a curator and an art dealer as you are, what's something that you would say it's tough about your job?
I'd say sometimes it's hard to predict what people are going to respond to. So sometimes if I'm picking things out for people, they can kind of take me in a whole different direction than I really anticipated. But I'd say for doing, like art exhibits, it's always interesting to see what different kinds of people respond to first. So yeah, it's just like, it is fun just to kind of watch people once they're like experiencing art for the first time.
Yeah. And when you're going to like art shows and art museums or art fairs, do you like to see the art show before you see like a press release and an artist statement, or do you like to enjoy the art first and then
yeah, like if it's something I got an email for or got invited to, I'll try to kind of read up and just have as much info as I can. But then yeah, it's like then once you get somewhere, you could have a totally different feeling.
Yeah. But do you prefer like the before or after, like seeing the info, or
I like
seeing the art first?
I like to kind of read about it first.
Because I always find it fascinating, because I'm the opposite. I like to look at the art and then grab the statement and then go look at it again. Because I'm like, oh my god, this is like, I'm so wrong, or I never thought about this. But I always find fascinating, like especially like critics, when you're like at an art gallery and they come in and like the first thing they say, the press release, can I have this?
Totally.
Can I have that? And then they start looking at everything carefully. Is there anybody like a fellow curator, you don't have to say a name, but is there anybody that like you kind of emulate yourself, like you kind of wish or hope for the future to have like an opportunity or a career? Yeah,
I mean, I think there's like historically been some really cool art dealers that really see an artist and see their potential before they really reach it. So I kind of look up to people like that, like the Leo Castelli gallery was a gallery in New York going back to like the 50s and 60s. And he had a very, optimistic way of looking at helping artists. Like he was even making enough money at the gallery where he was paying artists a stipend if they made sales or not. Oh, wow. Just because he believed in them. So
that's amazing.
So yeah, just to be able to look at people like in that kind of humanistic way is missing from a lot of galleries.
And what's like a resource you wish that it was accessible to like curators and art dealers? Whether it's like maybe like a city-funded program where it could be like a free shuttle, like maybe like for like 2 days a week or something like that. Like, do you think like something that could like maybe facilitate for you to see like young talent or accomplished artists or the hot artists in the market right now?
For sure.
What's something that you like kind of wish like the city could provide?
Yeah, I mean, I wish that they'd kind of give landlords more benefits for like using spaces for a community art gallery, or like maybe being able to donate some space from building projects to like artist studios. Because that's the thing, is like cities that get so popular like New York and Miami, then they push out the people that make them interesting. So that's like the biggest battle now, is just to have affordable apartments and studio space.
Which is like almost like a war now, right? It's like a battlefield. And do you have any advices for like, besides the artists, but like people that want to be curators or dealers, on like how to start and what to look out for? Yeah, I mean, I would say that it's important to just kind of read a lot about the history of the art that you like the most, but then also try to understand broader art history. I think sometimes people get really caught up in what's like super new, but
you still have to know the history of where things come from.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would just say, yeah, read as much online, like on ArtNet, on, Art Forum. Just try to read as much as you can about what's going on.
And do you have like a favorite art publication?
Yeah, I mean, like, I think that ArtNet has the most current like articles online, but I would also say Brooklyn Rail for everything going on in New York, and Hyperallergic have really good reviews.
That's so funny. I love Brooklyn Rail. Have very good. It's almost like I don't know if they're a nonprofit or it's like run by artists, but it's amazing.
Like really good reviews.
Quality, exactly. Amazing reviews, and always have like the hottest up and coming artists to watch out for, which I love to see. All right, Kyle, what do you think of like art spaces in the meta universe? Like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think for people that are younger and that are comfortable buying and like collecting digital pieces, it's totally fine. It's just harder to get more established people to really get comfortable with it.
Yeah.
Because even if they know that they're going to buy a piece without seeing it, they'd rather see photos of something that's like already existing. I think NFTs are just a tough sell for a lot of people.
Yeah. And then are you inspired by like any other art industry, like fashion or music that you like?
Yeah, definitely.
Like who are you inspired by, like in the music world? Like
I'd say, yeah, like for music, like I really like disco and like 70s lots. So like, like Donna Summer is incredible.
Yeah.
Like Diana Ross, like, how much of that music and through the 80s we're still kind of seeing a resurgence of again, just because it's so timeless. Yeah. And like for fashion, it's like, stuff is always changing a lot, but I like brands that can kind of keep things like at least classic to them. Like I think Prada has really cool stuff, even though they do have a lot that is super streetwear, but a lot of their really, like more formal clothes are still really nice. But yeah, I mean, I think Adidas is always something that I always go back to just because
oh my god, I love
it's always
Adidas,
fun.
Yeah.
Like it fits me.
Yeah, and like perfect for any mood.
Totally.
Yeah, I love it. All right, Kyle, would you mind telling us about the artist that was featured I saw on your Instagram in Atlanta?
Yeah, my friends Grace and Kate. Hello. They have a great gallery in Atlanta called Monet Contemporary, and my artist Justina Kazelowitz is featured in their group show right now called Material Influence.
Oh, that's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about that artist?
Sure. She's originally from Warsaw, Poland, but she now lives in Miami.
Okay.
And I met her doing a show during Art Basel 2 years ago. And then we started working together. We hit it off. And then she was part of my Art Basel exhibit last year at Aqua.
Oh, that's
Art Miami.
amazing.
But she's incredible. She's a classically trained painter. She's an amazing embroiderer. She does amazing technique with textiles. So I've showed some work of hers that are embroideries and beautiful oil on canvas. She also works with like 19 karat gold leaf in some of her works. So she is a multidisciplinary artist that is extremely incredible.
Oh wow, shout out to her. And I noticed a lot on Instagram, a lot of your artist work is not only colorful, but it also has like different textures.
Totally.
Do you enjoy that? Is that something like you strive for in representation, or it's like whatever you get in the like if you guys click or not?
Yeah, I mean, I really like people that can really make their work break out of the canvas. So especially if someone is really good at building up texture or adding, different elements like embroidery and knit, I'm all about kind of pushing art from just being a two-dimensional object to something that feels more like sculptural.
Yeah. And do you ever think, do you ever suggest like to your artists, like, hey, let's say they did a painting, would you ever say like, hey, this is really good? You should try to create something just as is in the sculpture, or so, like, are you able to like give your artists like that one-on-one kind of like coach almost in a way? Like, do you enjoy that process, or just want them to?
I think most of the time I'll give them advice for like colors, but I just want to see whatever like medium they're the most comfortable in. But if I can kind of tell people that, like certain colors do better in certain places for sales, they'll usually listen to me.
No, because I was asking because you have a very good art, like in a good eye for art as well. So I always thought you probably have like amazing ideas and things like that. Sorry if I move my hands too much. I'm Brazilian. We have this like bad thing that not bad, but whatever. But like we use our hands too much.
Yeah, Italians are same.
Exactly. And also, I don't know if you can answer this, but do you have a favorite art fair in New York?
I would say, I would say like spring break is usually the most fun.
Mm-hmm.
You see things that are more unexpected.
Yeah.
And I would say like best overall, I mean, I think that the TFOF fair at Park Avenue Armory is like amazing just because of the variety from ancient artifacts to old masters to contemporary. I think it's like such a cool venue that doesn't get as much press as I think it deserves, but
that's in November this year, right?
Yeah.
Will you be there? Or
I'll be there for sure.
Oh, we got to check it out then. And do you also on your Instagram, besides sharing your artists, do you like to enjoy other art programs that you go to, like the travels and things like that?
Yeah, I love to highlight like different galleries, different museums, like anything that I see, I want to share with people.
And do you ever share like the photography you take for fun?
Yeah, totally.
On your Instagram?
Yeah, like I'll go to like restaurants I like and like beaches and stuff. For sure.
That's really cool. And do you enjoy going back to beaches, because we're talking about like mental health and how to take care of yourself? Since moving to Miami, do you find it easier to have like a mental health day where you just kind of like pamper yourself, go to the spa, go to the beach or something like that?
Yeah, I think it's it's like easier to chill there just because you kind of have to make plans with people. So if you really don't want to do anything, you can totally just have a day by yourself by the pool.
Oh, that's really cool. And how is it, like, how has it been for you? Because like going from New York, like cold, frigid winters, to like Miami weather and culture and people. Yeah,
I think that it's like, it's a different vibe outside of wintertime just because it's a little bit slower. People aren't as like social just because there aren't as many events going on.
Yeah.
Because I feel like New York, it's like you can find something to do any day, but Miami is like a little bit of a smaller scene.
Kyle, do you want to share any other artists you're working with at the moment?
Yeah, I'm working with a really cool artist. He's now based in New Orleans. His name's RJ Raisk, and he does really amazing abstract, super built up texture, beautiful abstract works. They're all mixed medium. Some of them have plaster elements, some of them have oil, some of them have different pigments with like silver. So it's just this whole really organic feeling world, and he just really takes a lot of time as he makes everything. So it's just a beautiful process.
Oh, that's amazing. And do you enjoy like going to artist studio and like not only looking at the work but hearing like their background, what they're inspired by, and like that whole process?
Totally. Yeah, it just like it really helps me understand it better, and just to see a bunch of work all at once just helps me like just see what someone's capable of, and then you start to see, just what parts of their body of work that you like the best. Yeah.
And if anybody like watching or listening right now, and they look at your Instagram, can they reach out to you, whether it's like a collector or an artist, to like ask you, hey, I'm looking for this type of painting, can you help me? Or an artist that says, hey, can I submit my work to you?
Yeah,
Are
definitely.
you open to that?
Yeah, people DM me and email me all the time just asking, if they need help finding pieces. Sometimes people ask me to privately sell things for them. So no, I'm open to
cool.
it.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
For sure.
That's amazing. And have you worked with like big institutions, like whether it's like residential buildings or like hotels, to like help them with like setups and everything?
Yeah, I picked out some pieces in like a lobby area, and I helped an artist get like a mural installation in like a condo building.
Oh wow.
So I've done some stuff like that already.
And do you enjoy I would say like not doing the so technical work where it's like the collecting and the art dealing part, and like doing stuff like this, which seems like more free, more hands-on? It
can be super fun, especially if you have a bigger space to work with. You can kind of build out a really interesting world.
Yeah. And do you like traveling and like seeing other artists and things like that, like museums and stuff?
Yeah. And especially like kind of being in a lifestyle that I am traveling a lot, it's fun to see different people. People always have different referrals for you to meet their friends and kind of see other stuff going on. So I think it's important to kind of always have a fresh view of things going on in different places.
Absolutely. All right, Kyle, thank you so much for being a podcast. It's been a pleasure, and I'm so grateful to have you today.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you for being here. Do you mind sharing your Instagram and website with us, please, again?
Sure. My Instagram is Kyle A. Hamilton. It's KYLEAHAMILTON. And my website is www.kylehamiltonfineart.com. It's KYLEHAMILTONFINEART.com.
Perfect. And thank you so much, Kyle, once again. And everybody, please check out his website and Instagram, and I'm sure you guys will love it.
Awesome.
Until next time we see each other, hopefully in Miami or somewhere exotic, right?
Totally.
Thank you again.
Tons going on in New York this fall,
for
too.
sure. Definitely. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to Tariq Talk. Follow Tariq Talk on all social media channels and check out the video interviews online.